Welcome back to NYSE TV Live, everyone. I'm Kristen Scholler here in studio at the New York Stock Exchange. Well, the price of Bitcoin hit $100,000 a token yet again on Wednesday. That's part of an industry-wide rally following President-elect Donald Trump's win in November. But what should we expect from Bitcoin and the broader digital asset industry once Trump takes office come January 20th? Well, joining me now with more is Redbord, Global Head of Policy and Government Affairs at TRM Labs. Great to have you on the show this morning, and Happy New Year.
Terrific. Happy New Year, and thank you so much for having me. Great to be on.
Look, so much focus on cryptocurrency, certainly just in the past 12 months. The Bitcoin ETF approved about this time last year, and then a new administration set to take effect on January 20th. What do you think the first 100 days looks like under this new pro-crypto administration?
Yeah, it's a really exciting moment. And, we saw a lot of promises on the campaign trail, but I think we're already starting to see them play out a bit. And it's going to be a combination of executive action, right? We've already seen a number of really key appointments when it comes to crypto. Scott Bessent, the incoming Treasury Secretary, has been very bullish in his comments around cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We've seen Paul Atkins, who was a former SEC commissioner, who's done a lot of work in the space, who's very bullish on the technology, very sort of pro-business, take charge of the or be appointed as the next SEC chair. We've seen a crypto czar appointed to this sort of a brand new role. So it's a combination of we've already seen these key appointments when it comes to the people, but even that these roles exist at all. David Sachs, this incoming crypto czar, former PayPal executive, entrepreneur, investor. These are roles that didn't exist before, and it really just shows that already before day one, we see this administration leaning into technology and crypto and AI in particular. And look, there's this almost daily, appointments being made. All of them are very pro-technology, and it almost has this feel like, hey, we're in a space race right now, and the U.S. is going to catch up and potentially take the lead.
I am curious, Ari, because we hear a lot about volatility perhaps in the stock market this year as we adjust to whatever this new norm will be. We saw the promises during the campaign trail. We'll see how it plays out. But by and large, many of my guests think that we will end the year in a positive state. Should our viewers expect volatility in the crypto world as well?
I think you always expect volatility in the crypto world. And what I go back and forth on is whether we're experiencing a new normal. Are we entering a market where there's going to be volatility? That's how a 24/7 trading, that's how crypto never sleeps kind of market, where we see Bitcoin with some volatility, but maybe as a store of value, where we see these meme coins and other types of assets, where we see stable coins being used for payments, which is going to be the sort of more stable way to interact with this new financial system. So I think we'll continue to see some volatility. But if you do see things like a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which we've heard is a strong possibility in the first 100 days, look, I think we're going to start to see legal clarity, and that's going to come from Congress. We've had this conversation in the U.S. for years about who's going to regulate this space. Is it the CFTC? Is it the SEC? I think we're going to get clarity around that, which should help with the sort of long-term volatility issues that have plagued the industry to date. So I think we're going to see a combination of executive action very quickly, but we'll also see some activity in Congress getting legislation passed to bring legal clarity to the space.
Do you see Bitcoin as a buy and hold asset? We see more and more conversation about adding it to people's 401ks. Fidelity does offer it, for instance, in retirement plans. Or to you, is it more of a tradable asset?
I really have always seen it as a hold type asset. I think there's plenty of other types of crypto assets to trade in sort of this day trading type of way. I think I've always seen Bitcoin as potentially as a store of value. That's why we hear from the Trump administration, the incoming Trump administration, about a Bitcoin reserve. We're talking to states across the U.S. now. I talked to regulators in Texas recently who are talking about a Bitcoin reserve. So I think this idea of holding Bitcoin as a store of value, as a hedge, is something that we're going to see more and more. But yeah, no, I've always seen it that way.
And I am just curious in terms of where we go from here. We had seen the president-elect Donald Trump actually be bearish on Bitcoin and really not welcome it in his first administration. So as our viewers get acquainted with cryptocurrency, what has changed from now until then?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. I think what the real key more than anything else is, and like obviously the people are critical, but the fact that we're now having a crypto czar who's working on entirely on crypto and AI means that the US wants to position itself to be a leader globally when it comes to technology. We were a leader in the age of the internet, right, with Silicon Valley and all the great tech companies that came out of the US. I think that's what this incoming administration is focused on, is that the US needs to be a leader in new technology always. And today, the cutting edge technology is crypto and AI. And that's why there's this real focus on leading there. And I think that we've seen other countries, we've seen Europe pass MiCA, the market in crypto assets legislation, to try to encourage crypto businesses to move there. I think the US sees an opportunity to say, hey, no, we want crypto businesses, we want technology businesses to build in the US. And that's really what this embrace of digital assets is all about.
Ari Redbord, Global Head of Policy and Government Affairs at TRM Labs. Ari, great to see you. And we'll see more of
Always.
you, I'm sure, this new year.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Great.